This is a response to arnie365, who sent me a challenge. He essentially claimed that I should believe in God because the secret societies say not to believe in God, therefore there is a God. Seriously, that was his argument. He basically said that the secret societies have invented every religion except Christianity. Then he said that's not what he said, and what he wrote to me in a private message was, I didn't say that. Do some research on the founders of Jehovah's Witnesses, Latter-day Saints, Thelema, Scientology, etc., and you'll see that the builders are Masons that reject the stone. Jesus founded them. Ask yourself why. Why is the Pope a Mason if Catholicism rejects Freemasonry? Why are almost all the world governments Masonic? And I wrote back telling him what I told the last person, that I don't do private message debates. I would either respond publicly, you'd have to comment publicly, or I would make a video. His arrogant reply was, I dare you to reply with a video. Alright. My reply begins with a reply to this specific private message. He continues, please prove that Joseph Smith, founder of the Latter-day Saints, was not a Mason. What the fuck does that have to do with there being a God or not? You said they're trying to tell people that there's no God, yet they're founding religions that say that there's a God. Not to mention that you have to be a theist to be a Freemason, and they keep a Bible on their altar at all times. Literally, atheists are not allowed to be Freemasons. Polytheists are not allowed to be Freemasons. You have to be a monotheist to be allowed in. So this is your secret society teaching people there's no God. Yeah, actually, I know that he was a Mason, but again, same thing. Who gives a shit? Officially, he joined the Masons because he wanted to create his own rituals in order to reinstate, like, the Levite priesthood and the Aaronic priesthood, and he felt that they had a corrupted version that he could take and use himself, so he took theirs, and right after he got their rituals, he quit. He was already creating the religion when he joined the Masons, and then he quit as soon as he got the information he wanted, so it really doesn't prove anything. Plus, like I said, Masons and Latter-day Saints both believe in God, so it doesn't even matter. He continues, prove that Charles Taze Russell, who publicly admitted being a Mason, isn't one. Okay, here's the thing. The burden of proof is on you to prove that he was, not on me to prove that he wasn't. If I say that Abraham Lincoln was a shape-shifting lizard, the burden of proof is on me to prove that he was one, not on you to prove that he wasn't. Also, Charles Taze Russell never publicly admitted to being a Mason. You people keep saying this over and over and over again by taking a quote from him completely out of context. Here is the quote that people like to pull out and use out of context, and this is the only quote anybody has anywhere to indicate that Russell was a Mason. Note that he has never been claimed as a Mason by any Masonic organization. He's not in any registry anywhere as a Mason. This is one quote, and only one quote, that anybody has ever found. He says, I am a Freemason. I am a free and accepted Mason. This is completely out of context. What he actually says is, I am very glad to have this particular opportunity of saying a word about some of the things in which we agree with our Masonic friends, because we are speaking in a building dedicated to Masonry and we also are Masons. I am a Freemason. I am a free and accepted Mason, if I may carry the matter to its full length, because that is what our Masonic brethren like to call us, or like to tell us, that they are free and accepted Masons. That is their style of putting it. Now, I am a free and accepted Mason. I trust we all are. He's not talking to Masons, he's talking to Bible students here. But not after the style of our Masonic brethren. We have no quarrel with them. I am not going to say a word against Masons, and I can appreciate that there are certain very precious truths that are held in part by our Masonic friends. I have talked to them at times, and they have said, how do you know about all these things? We thought nobody knew anything about these things except those who had access to our highest logic. So what he said is, I am a Mason, but not after the style of our Masonic brethren. He said there that he actually knew more than they did. He had more secrets than they did. He says, do our Masonic friends understand something about the temple and being Knights Templar and so on? We more. He was saying that as a true Christian, as someone who truly understands the Bible, he is more of a true Freemason than they are because he knows more of the true secrets of God than they do. I'd also like to stress that if he was a Mason, then both he and the Masons believe in God, so the claim that the secret societies are all teaching people not to believe in God is bullshit. This is the only piece of evidence anyone has ever shown that Russell was a Mason, a completely out-of-context quote. In the full quote, it's clear that he's saying that he isn't a Mason, not a Mason that's a member of the secret society of the Freemasons. He's speaking of a completely different thing. He's talking about biblical Masonry, that is, someone who understands the Bible and its meanings and secrets. Let's look at some other quotes from Russell concerning Masonry and the secret societies. This quote is from The New Creation, and you can find it on pages 580 to 581. He says, the Freemasons, Oddfellows, Knights of Pythias, etc. perform certain rites and ceremonies of a religious kind. We place upon one level all those who have any religious ceremonies, teachings, etc., and consider them all as parts of Babylon. We admonish the new creation to have nothing whatever to do with any of these semi-religious societies, clubs, orders, churches, but to come out from amongst them and be ye separate and touch not the unclean thing. He says here that Freemasonry is an unclean thing and not to join it. That's a far cry from saying that he's a Mason. Here's a quote from the Watchtower of 1895, June 1895 specifically, page 143. We note also that the Order of Freemasons, if judged by its past history, has some secret object or scheme, more than fraternity and financial aid in time of sickness or death. And, so far as we can judge, there is a certain amount of worship or mummery connected with the rites of this order and some others, which the members do not comprehend, but which in many cases serves to satisfy the cravings of the natural mind for worship, and thus hinders it from seeking the worship of God in spirit and in truth, through Christ, the only appointed mediator and Grand Master. In proportion as such societies consume valuable time in foolish, senseless rites and ceremonies, and in substituting the worship of their officers and the use of words and symbols which have no meaning to them for the worship of God in his appointed way, through Christ and according to knowledge and the spirit of a sound mind, in that proportion these societies are grievous evils, regardless of the financial gains or losses connected with membership in them. So, was he saying he was a Mason here? What is he saying? He says at best they're a complete waste of time, because all the rites and symbols have absolutely no meaning to them and are simply wasting time and are foolish and senseless. Or at worst, he says there's a certain amount of false worship associated with them, which hinders people from seeking worship of the true God in spirit and in truth, and that they possibly have some secret object or scheme. Does this sound like somebody defending Masonry? No, this is someone condemning Freemasons. And once again, I have to stress, even if he was a Mason, it doesn't matter because he believed in God, he taught his followers to believe in God, and the Freemasons believe in God. Continuing with this challenge, prove that C.T. Russell, who had publicly admitted being a Mason, isn't one. Yeah, he sure publicly admitted it.